best-selling author of one of the most important highlighted historical books that's ever written in the sport of baseball. For 15 years, George was one of Nike's and Adidas's selected coaches for basketball. George was selected to travel to Asia to work with the Chinese women and men's in basketball, going to 8 different provinces. Now, when you understand, we are all going to encounter challenges in life. If we can learn to compartmentalize those events and use self-mastery principles, we can accomplish anything.
Hi, my name is George Reister, and let me start out by saying thank you for your support. Thank you for letting this book inspire you, increase your wisdom and your knowledge about the game of baseball, about coaching baseball, about what parents do in parenting the kids that play baseball. You can find this book at several different outlets. Ingram Bookstore carries it wherever Ingram books are carried. This book is sold now all across the United States. You can go to my website at georgefreister.com. You can also go to Amazon, where you can find it, the #1 bestseller, The Black and White of Baseball, Overcoming Bias in Baseball and Life. Now listen, I've been contemplating over the last 2 months about my podcast that's coming up and what subject matter I was going to deal with on the podcast. And so it's kind of delayed me stepping into the camera and just putting out the information that I really want to put out about self-mastery, self-development, how to find the real you inside of you so that you can fulfill your purpose and all of your dreams. It's come to the point now that I had to make a decision. And I think yesterday, after I got a phone call from a friend, and he asked, "Are you watching the Little League World Series?" I laughed, just like now. I said, well, you know, I started watching the Little League World Series Championship. And then I looked at it and I immediately said, who am I cheering for? The Little League World Series and most baseball events that you turn on or watch or go participate in speaks just to the information that's in this book. I had to ask myself, am I cheering for the team from El Segundo, the team from the state that I actually live in? Or am I cheering for the kids that look like me? Now that should be a question that should never have to be asked. Why did I ask myself that question? Because we see the same scenario playing out over and over and over again when it comes to black kids playing baseball. And why would I ask myself, who should I be cheering for? Do I want to cheer for an organization or a systematic situation that limits the number of African-American kids that play in it? Or do I want to cheer for an organization that I see people that look like me? Because when they see people that look like me, they see that we have children just as well. Our children have the same dreams. Our children compete and play the game the same way. Our children are just as good as everyone else's children that gets a chance to play this game at a high level, or even at the lower levels. See, until we face the facts of what's happening in the sport of baseball, softball, until we face the facts and we decide that we really want to do something about it, nothing's going to change. Until coaches that put these select teams together realize that the balance of the team means the balance of the country, the balance of the relationships, the balance of life, the balance of opportunity and what those teams represent means something to America, to white America, to black America, to Latino America, to Asian America. Until those people realize that, we will constantly look at this game of baseball from a one-sided perspective. And we sprinkle in a few of us here or there. It's beyond just talking about it now, because we've been talking about it forever. But where have we been talking about it? That's the point. Where have we decided to take a stand about it? See, it's really embarrassing to our country for us to allow this to continue. See, don't get me wrong. There are people that are not of color, Caucasian people, that clearly understand that this is happening. They say they side with us. They're in heads of organizations all the way down to the parents who allow their children to participate in the organization. But what's being said in the right places with the right tone, with the right energy, asking for the results to change is what matters. You say you understand, you say you agree, but what do you do about it? Right now, it appears to be nothing. And for the black families that this is happening to, we take the stance, or I should say, some of us take the stance, which says, well, if I just keep my head down and keep pushing forward, then, maybe, my child will be the one that breaks through. Maybe my child will get a chance if my silence remains silent, or my voice remains at a minimum. Or I talk about it in the rooms where there's no one that can hear my opinion or my voice. And those of us who choose to stand up and say, we need a change, we need to make a difference. See, what most people, especially us as black people, we try to get along, we try to make sure we fit in, we try to teach our kids that, we just keep working hard and sooner or later something's gonna happen. When we take that approach, we have defeated ourselves once again. Because our silence doesn't create an answer. It doesn't create a change. And whether or not you realize it or not, you have now perpetuated the situation even further. Because even in your silence, or let's just say the few of us whose child breaks through, now we get that opportunity. You still won't get to the biggest stage of the baseball pinnacle, because check the numbers out there. So while you think your silence is helping you, your silence is only crippling and hurting you more. So why don't we stop being afraid of our silence and use our voice? Because if it doesn't help our children, the ones who are already in a position to move forward, it'll help the next child, the next generation. Let's stop acting out of fear and act more out of trying to gain some results. Not just for ourselves, but someone else. It's time for a change, people. It's time for us to have a change in mentality, a change in attitude, look at our perspective and say, hey, status quo isn't good enough. And for all of the coaches that coach our children, that coach sports in general, why would you even want a lack of diversity in your sports, in your group? Because when children go out and they grow up and they get into the workforce, into the work world, diversity is key. You won't find a successful company with just all black people, all white people, all Asian people, all Latino people. You're educating and teaching and training your children what it's like to integrate and relate to people that don't look like them. You're crippling a nation of wonderful children who need to know we all need each other. And diversity is, and inclusion is the best thing that could have happened in the United States. We got to take a different position, coaches. We got to start looking through the lens that black kids don't have to be superhero baseball players to be included as one of 20, 2 or 30, or none at all. We don't have to act like white children act to be valuable in your club, in that little T-ball organization, at your higher level baseball organizations. Allow us to be us. Understand us. And then here's another point with coaches. When we feel like we don't get that love as black players, black families, black parents, and we take our children to black coaches to help our black kids understand how to play the game, how to be involved in the game, to be on a team where we can play at those elite levels. Black coaches, first you need to understand that, is that when a black kid comes to you from a quote unquote, maybe a non-diverse team, and he's already experienced some pitfalls, some bad relationships, some bad energy from coaches and maybe even some players, understand that that child is probably broken at some point. So when they get to you, tough love might be the last thing that they need. They need maybe need a little bit more nurturing, a little bit more understanding, a little bit more care, a little bit more consideration, a little bit more of, pat on the back to say, okay, it's okay. A little bit more communication for you to understand what they're going through or what they've been through. Tough love might be the last thing they need. Skill set they probably already have to a certain degree. They may need a little bit more compassion rather than for us to put our thumb or our fist down on them and say, well, you got to do this way because if they see you do this, then they'll never let you play, yada, yada, yada. You know the story. You parents have seen it. You coaches know the conversation. I've been around the conversation. I've heard the conversation. I've seen the interaction. So now I feel as though I'm in a position where I have to continue this conversation. This conversation, so when my podcast launches, which will be very soon, I'm going to talk baseball, blacks in baseball, whites in baseball, coaches in baseball, parenting in baseball, players in baseball, because anytime I have an interaction with a player, an elite level player playing at a Division I school, one of the top players on that team, come to me and say, yeah, I'm in psychotherapy. Psychotherapy for what? Because my white coaches don't know how to deal with me as a player. I'm one of the top players on the team, and we having a communication gap. You know I was on Sports Center twice last week with Plays of the Day because how dynamic and how spectacular the plays were. You know, I have one of the highest batting averages on the team. But yet still, they don't see me as a black player. They see me how they want me to be as a white player from a white coach's perspective. So I'm going to deal with this subject until people not jump on my bandwagon, but come with me to help us bring some change into this sport. So I would really like for you to continue doing what you're doing. Parents, coaches, players, contact me in my email address, george@georgefreister.com. Go to my webpage, leave comments at georgefreister.com. Go to my Facebook page, The Black and White of Baseball, or my personal page, George G. F. Reister. Either one. Find a way to reach out to me. Ask questions. And if I don't know the answer, I'll be happy to give research it and find out the answer for you. If you're in a town where you don't know where to go to play, I've been a lot of places, talked to a lot of people. I'd be happy to help point you in the right direction if I can. I need you, you need me. We all need each other. Coaches, if you don't understand how to relate to a African-American kid, reach out to me. Maybe I can add some insight to you that'll help you develop and continue your program going in the right direction. It's obviously you're already doing something right. We're just getting the program started, trying to work with the youth. Why not understand how we fit into this game and how you can better connect with us as black people? Man, this is like, we're in 2023. We're still having this conversation. This is unbelievable. But unless we talk about it, there's nothing that can be done about it. I'm also going to start a list. If you're in a situation, a program, school, where you know that there is an issue, reach out to me. I'll see if I can reach out to those schools and maybe help bring some diversity programs to the school. Or help you find a school that fits your criteria as a player and as an academic student. You're not trapped and you don't have to stay where you are. Stop feeling like you are, people, players, parents. If the coaches won't change, find a place to play where the coach understands you. Now, I'm not into all of the necessarily the transfer portal just because I don't like somebody or just transferring because I'm not getting playing time. You'll never reach your goal by doing that. I'm speaking in terms of when a coach does not understand you as an athlete, as a minority athlete, or that coach is doing things that he or she shouldn't do because they can, because the norm and society and what the foundation of that school and that organization does allows them to. Those are the people I'm talking about. I'm talking about us, and the only way that we're going to deal with them is to expose them. No, we're not going to come on and badmouth people. Our first objective is always change. It's always, let's do the same thing we want other people to do for us. Give us an opportunity to change when we're going in the wrong direction. If we do that, then we're all working together. Man, I love you so much. I love this community so much. I love people in general so much. But you know, enough is enough. Enough hiding, enough sneaking in the back rooms talking about these situations, enough coaches promising to do some things differently that don't. It's time for some change. And the only way that's going to happen, We're going to start talking about it. We're going to deal with it. So please, send me your emails. If you have my number, text me. You can reach me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's not a secret where I am. Go get your copy of the book, The Black and White of Baseball, Overcoming Bias in Baseball and Life. Read through it. And if you can tell me that when you look at baseball, that I have not described this situation, something that you don't need a rocket science to tell you about, then let me know. Although you didn't need this book to tell you that, I just happen to be the one who penned it. Because it's right in front of our eyes. It's undeniable. But I love you guys. Wish you nothing but the best. Continue your journey. Anything I can do to help you. When we open up the show and the podcast, we'll have question and answers. Hopefully we're going live so that we can have some interaction between parents, coaches, and kids. And we'll build it. We'll bring some change in the sport of baseball and life. See you soon. George Reister signing off. Have a good day.